Cool, guys, how are we doing? Hello, how are you? So I'm just going to let this build up for a minute or two. So I know some people will probably be watching live, some people will probably be watching back. So I'm just going to let it build up, see if people come on, and then go through everything we're going to go through. Cool, if you do come through, guys, just let me know you're watching. And you can let me know if you're watching back. If there's any questions, you can stick them in the comments and I can come back to them at a later point. Cool, all right, so I'm gonna crack into this. We're gonna crack straight in. So just for introductions, my name is James Boardman. Helen's kindly allowed me to come in and kind of teach some of you guys some key learning aspects basically to avoid burning out, okay, emotionally and mentally. Just a quick bit of background for me. So I'm a former Royal Marine Commando. I served for 9 years and left 10 years ago. And I got into business when I left my teaching job. So when I left the military, I went into a teaching job, taught at a college, taught 16 to 19-year-olds, which was an experience. Realised that wasn't for me, and I took my side hustle at the time, which was just running a boot camp, and created a huge business in terms of it being a boot camp. We had 400 members. We had about 5 or 6 staff working for us, so we built up a huge unit from nothing really. We didn't really have any money, didn't have anything, and built that business up over 7 years. I then decided to turn my efforts online to then working with guys, with men through the Man Coach brand, and slowly closed down my boot camp. And I changed to being online because I wanted to live life on my terms, and I wanted to have more control over how I worked within my business. Time was my currency. Having spent a lot of time away, overseas, and busy in the military, I really, and within my boot camp of having to turn up to classes in the morning and evening, I really wanted to reclaim some of my life back. I felt that I was living my life based around my business, and I was sacrificing a lot of things, and I didn't want to do that anymore, which is why I worked online. I've worked on productivity, balance, personal management, time management now for since I can remember. I've always been structured, I've always been fairly disciplined. I lost that along the way trying to build my first business, as you can imagine, I'm sure many of you are going through. And as you're growing and building your business, you're probably feeling the burnout at some point because of just mismanagement and poor structure. And so I took that, and I took my experience and my passion, and I created a second online business, which is Time Domination. And that helps online business owners become much more effective with their time and their energy and their productivity, okay, so that they become the asset of their business rather than the burnt out entrepreneur that isn't delivering and is sacrificing everything to achieve their success. All right, so that's just a very quick background. I've kind of gone for the school format, the whiteboard, and I just want to give you a couple of tips and tricks in terms of mindset. And then obviously you guys can come on to do more in-depth training with me if you want to on our 5-day challenge, which starts Monday week. And I've put the link up on the post for you to sign through Helen's affiliate. So where does it all go wrong? So having worked with a fair few entrepreneurs now, one of the key things that I'm seeing is that everyone is in this mad dash rush to be successful. Everybody is wanting to have large amounts of success in their business, and quite rightly so, right? But we're trying to do it all. The minute we get an idea, we want it all now. Like, I want to be successful now. And where does that come from? I think it comes from comparisons to other people and where they are, and not understanding that actually we're not at that level yet. So high expectations, but low level of conditioning about where we are right now. And then that deficit between our expectations and where we are creates a lot of that frustration. So we work frantically to try and fill this gap, okay, without structure, without routine, without self-awareness. And what we end up doing, what we end up seeing is business owners like crumbling at some point because you cannot sustain imbalanced routines, not looking after yourself in terms of health, not having a work-life balance or structure. So I want to kind of give you like the format that I teach a lot of my guys. So hopefully you can see this all right. I've tried to fit loads on this board to give you lots of value in the time that we've got. So I want you to imagine this little rectangle here, okay, as your state of mind, as your mindset. So this is your brain. The brain runs every single part of our thought process, our decision making, our overwhelm, our burnout. Everything that we go through is here. And it is consistently being plagued by chaos. So I put all these areas here and consistently being bombarded with the chaos of everything. So chaos is the self-pressure that you put yourself under to achieve your expectations. Expectations themselves, trying to be somewhere as quickly as you can, based on other people, based on social media, based on comparisons, based on insecurities, whatever it might be. Time. So time, a lack of time management, time awareness, a lack of understanding about what your priorities are, creating stress, creating uncertainty, and you yourself, if you are chaos, you are not the asset of your business. So that means that if you're not the asset of your business, you can't deliver the way you want to deliver. So the way that we can keep chaos at bay is to make sure that we have a solid structure that has balance, that has levels of control in terms of time, energy, and productivity. So this structure is made up of 4 pillars, and the 4 pillars come under these 4 sections. H is for health, mental health, emotional health, physical health. If we're going to build a business, a brand, an empire, we've got to make sure that health is one of the key things that we're taking time to focus on. But I'm not here to kind of preach to you how to do that. I'm just talking about these are aspects, these are foundations that we need to, because if we don't take care of our mental and emotional and physical health, we're going to end up falling down and we're going to be unable to show up to our clients and to our launches and be ever present to provide a great service to our clients. I don't know if you've ever been in that state before, but suddenly when you don't feel it and you feel suddenly burnt out, you don't deliver as well because you're constantly chasing, right? The other pillar is the relationships. Now, for me, the most important relationship is the relationship with yourself, okay? Being content, having happiness, reducing anxiety, managing your overwhelm. These are key things that I feel we should be spending time to develop and understanding ourselves better. More self-awareness, more vision. And when we have that relationship nailed with communication and understanding with our own internal dialogue, with our own mindset and state of mind, the more we understand how we work better. The more that we understand when it's time to stop work, the more we understand when we're hitting burnout, the more we understand when we've gone too far. So once we've got that nailed, we then tend to have better relationships with our husbands, our wives, our kids, our friends, our peers, because we're in a better place mentally. Okay, personal development, self-learning. So what are we doing in terms of not just professional, but personal? What are we doing for ourselves to develop personally, away from the business? Because personal development tends to be, I listen to podcasts all the time. I listen to audiobooks all the time. And when I ask what the theme of those podcasts and audiobooks are, is business. There has to be balance. So there has to be something for you. And that reduces that overwhelmed feeling of just business, you know? And then the last one is your business yourself. So we look at things like work-life balance. We look at things like productivity. We look at things like having rules within our own business, when we're going to start, when we're going to break, when we're going to finish, when are we going to take a half day off, how are we going to reward ourselves. And the problem that happens is that for the majority of people, we have an imbalance. And a lot of it comes from us striving and thriving to build a brand and a business. And the sacrifices tend to be these 3 pillars. And because you sacrifice these 3 pillars, we slowly but surely, mentally and emotionally, become drained, fatigued, exhausted, to the point where we just don't feel like we can keep going on. And I've seen this with really successful business owners, with business owners that are just getting going. And this was me, okay, in my 2nd year of business. My first year of business, when I left the college, I was doing £6,000 a year, okay, with my side hustle. We had no money. I was literally living off baked beans, Tesco value baked beans, bread and beans and tomatoes or whatever. It was Tesco value all around the house. And in a year, and after the first year, we took 107. So we took £100,000 in that first year. And it was just work ethic, work ethic, work ethic. This wasn't really here because I was in survival mode, okay? But then when we got to that point, we needed to grow the business. And I didn't recognize that because I was so consumed, okay? And I wasn't thinking clearly. I was mentally and emotionally burnt out, and I was still trying to do everything myself. And when you get to that particular stage in your business where you're ready to grow, you have to be a business owner and not working in your business. But we don't do that because we're so consumed from the day-to-day life, being consumed with the chaos. And we're not stepping back, and we're not making good decisions because we're not in the right place. So we're not the asset of our business, so we fall down. So how do we build these things up? Okay, how do we make sure that we're not burning out? Now, when we can work to a time scale, when we have a vision about where our business is going, rather than just getting through the weeks and just getting through the months and just thinking, right, this is where I've got to be. If you think about where you want to be visually, let's say in 10 years in your business, okay, and you actually spent some time building this mission up, okay, and this is what we call the mission. You then have a clear, concise, what I would call yellow brick road from where you are now to where you want to be. So it doesn't become a day-to-day battle of, oh, I'm just getting this funnel done, or I'm just going to set up this product. And it doesn't become random cuffing after cuffing, because the cuffing and the firefighting and the running on the hamster wheel is what's crushing us. If we have clear, precise focus about what we need to achieve, and we have a ton of checkpoints and milestones to get there, then we have a plan of action. Then we have accountability of where our time is going, where our energy is being put into. We have balance because we can now move away from the business guilt-free to do other things other than just working on our business. Because the problem is that if we get to 2:30, you don't want to take the day off because you kind of feel like, oh, I feel like I should be working. I feel guilty. But whereas once you've got that long-term plan and you know that you're doing Monday to Friday, 7 till 2:30, that's the plan. You're going to get your top 3 priorities done in that time. Then you're allowed to finish yourself at 2:30. You're allowed to do something for yourself. You're then allowed to spend time with your family. You then become and start building up this structure. All right. So I'm going to take you through this briefly. Now, this is normally this is like a huge talk. This is like a huge training thing. So this here, okay, it is what I put into my course. I'm going to try and teach it you in like 10, 15 minutes. So I am going to try and breeze through it. I hope this is making sense. If this is making sense so far, guys, please do just let me know and give me some feedback as we're going along. Whether you're just hitting the blue thumb button or whether you are just commenting on the live, please do let me know and keep me posted. All right, so I just want us to focus on this timeline right here. So when I was 40, the thing that I decided to do was sit down and create a vision, okay? I wasn't concrete on where I wanted to be. And that was one of the problems that I was having. I was just kind of getting through the quarters or getting through the weeks and kind of just trying to build clients. There was no clear picture. There was no clear North Star. There was no clear reference point that I was trying to head towards. So I created a 10-year, not plan, but vision. Okay, there's a distinct difference between the two, which I'll talk in a minute. That vision I decided to have in terms of for each of my pillars. So the health, personal development, relationships and business. Okay, I'm just going to focus on business because this is about building business owners up here. All right. And I was like, do you know what? I want to build a £1 million business in 10 years from here, you know, and I want to work out how I'm going to do that. So I just was like, I'm going to quit all my self-limiting beliefs. I'm going to quit all of the self-doubt or the judgment or what people think I can and can't do. This is what I want to achieve. This is kind of like the milestone. So in 10 years, when I'm 50, I want to run a £1 million business. So I put £1 million business here. In terms of time, I was like, I just want to work Monday to Thursday. And I probably don't want to do any more than 4 hours a day. All right, so, okay, that's the dream. That's what I'm aiming for. So what I ended up doing was reverse engineering that vision and giving myself checkpoints to hit. Okay, super simple. So breaking down, these are the figures that I wanted to hit along the way. So I come all the way back to my 1 year plan. So from my 1 year plan to my 10-year plan, I kind of know what financial targets I want to be hitting to make sure I'm moving in that right direction. I kind of know what I need to do in terms of building my infrastructure to be able to delegate so I can get to that point at the end of the 10 years. Now you can do this with anything. You can do this with your books, but you can do this with your coaching clients. How many coaching clients do you want? When it comes to health, you might have some health goals. When it comes to personal development, you might have things like, I want to write 2 books within that 10-year period. I want to be a motivational speaker. I want to run my own seminar and have 1,000 people in there. Okay, whatever it is, think about what it is and break down checkpoints for you to reach. Now, don't overthink this. This might change and vary along the way. Okay, so I'll give you an example. In October, I'm hitting my 3-year target. Now, I'm ahead of what I want to achieve. So all I'll end up doing is adjusting when I get to there and go, right, I think we can push this and push a little bit harder. But it's still giving me vision. The whole point of this is to give me direction. And I think that's what's missing from a lot of people's minds, work practices, is that direction. We're working, you've got a business, you're earning money, you've got some clients, but now what? How do we take this to the next level? How do we manage ourselves? How do we manage our time and our productivities and our energy to make sure that we're hitting the right priorities to move this forwards now? Because I always think to myself, can I consistently be a coach that's doing some exercise, you know, when I'm 50? Probably not. So I need to make sure that I'm thinking more about investing in other businesses, making sure I'm thinking more about managing other people in my business. And it's the thought processes that I started going through when I run my first business, the boot camp. I didn't want to be a 40-year-old personal trainer in the middle of a field on a Monday night, taking 20 to 30 women through a workout. I want to be at home, putting my kids to bed, knowing that I finished for the day. And that's where that vision started coming from. That's where all of this started coming from. Okay, I started thinking, now what? And if we're not thinking now what, how do we scale this? How do we improve ourselves? How do I use my time more efficiently so I'm not becoming burnt out? How do I get off the hamster wheel of doom, as we call it? So we've done that there, and I've given you examples. This is just examples, all right, guys? This is not specifics. And again, we go all the way to the 1 year, all right? Then the magic happens on this side of the things. This is where we're planning, all right? So we're going to start reverse engineering this 1 year plan, all right? And we're going to bring it all the way back to what we need to do on a day-to-day basis to hit that 1 year plan. So if you want to hit that 100K, and I know that people can achieve that because that's what I achieved, and I knew nothing about business. And you guys had the benefit of having Helen as a mentor, having other mentors in here, having had a look through the group. So you've got all the tools you need, but you just need to have all of the milestones and checkpoints along the way so you know where your time and your energy is going. Okay, the journey is about building your business over the next 5 years and not 5 minutes. Okay, and everybody knows they want it now. But what happens when you get to that point where you feel like, oh, I got to that point where I've wanted? You're only going to want more. You're only going to heap more pressure onto yourself. You're only going to sacrifice more time in the other pillars. So just enjoy the process and the ride and the journey, right? You went into business to live life on your terms. Are you living life on your terms? well, this is the whole point, right? This is the whole point of doing this, so that you can live life on your terms, because you've got a blueprint of how to get there. So from the 1 year plan, I've got 100K. What I need to do is then break down how I'm going to achieve that. Okay, so in my first 12 weeks, I want to make sure I'm hitting 15K. Now, normally we think, well, you're going to need to hit 25K. Okay, 25K per quarter takes us to 100K. But realistically, if you imagine we're starting from scratch, in our first 12 weeks, we're probably going to try and reach 15 grand. Okay, so on the week to week basis, what do I need to be doing? I need to be building my funnels, creating my funnels, building my audience. On the day-to-day basis, I need to be making sure I'm doing content. I need to be making sure I'm putting my emails out to my email list. I need to make sure I'm networking, connecting with other people to get my message out there. Okay, so I am teaching this in brief, guys. I would go in this in a lot more detail, okay, like I do in my courses and my mastermind. This is what I teach the guys. This is what we're working on. So literally they can go, right, there's my blueprint for the next 12 weeks. So the way that we would do this, and the way that you can take away this, is that, look, there's your 1 year plan here. Here's your 12 week. So what we'd end up doing, the BD is a brain dump. Write down everything that you need to achieve, everything that you need to achieve to hit that 15K. Do you need to get a sales page? Do you need to hire a copywriter? Do you need a content plan? Do you need to get your social media outlets up and running? Do you need to hire somebody else to help you with the onboarding? What is your price plan? Like everything. And when you brain dump, you need to make sure you're in an environment, okay? You're in a position where you are not being disturbed, where you can fully focus on what you want to achieve. And I think that is what's really, really important to understand. This brain dump will create all of the things you need to do. Okay, so let me just wipe this off here. And this is what is really, really cool, the next bit we're going to go into. Because this then breaks down into the micro steps of what we want to achieve. Okay, so what we had is that we had our 12-week plan, and then we created everything that we wanted to achieve. So how are we going to break down the 12 weeks? It's going to break it down into 28-day checkpoint 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So let's just say you were looking to earn that 15K. This is just purely example based, right? So your 12-week target was 15K to hit your, to move you one step closer to hitting your 100K target at the end of the year. And then obviously when you get to that 1 year target of 100K, that moves you one step closer to achieving that dream of earning, or that vision of earning $1 million. So this now becomes the mission. You're creating your mission to get there. So what you might have to do in the first 28 day is take your brain dump and figure out what are the most key priorities that I need to get up and running in these first 4 weeks. In these first 4 weeks, what are the first things that I need to be doing? Well, to make money, I need a product. So to have a product, I need to have a sales page. So we're going to hire a copywriter maybe. Maybe you go ahead and in the first 4 weeks, we say, right, I want to create a sales page and build an audience. Okay? So in your first 28 days, all we're going to be doing, make sure we're doing at the end of that 28 days, making sure that you've got your sales page, making sure you stick out tons of content. You could even think about building a lead gen. But what we are doing here is breaking down a huge vision into small micro 1% wins. And these small micro 1% wins build up over time, okay, over and over and over and over again. And they're just little micro steps that are just consistently moving us forwards. So instead of having a to-do list of like 20 things, you suddenly just have these set tasks each day that when they are done, you can finish work. Okay? You then don't have to stay in the office for 16 hours trying to do 12 weeks worth of work in one day, which is the mentality that most have. I'm just going to log onto this page here because I can't see, just in case there's comments coming through, I can't see any of them. And that suddenly becomes your focus, your direct focus. Where it goes wrong for a lot of people is that they suddenly go, oh, well, you know, I've managed to start this here, but I've just got distracted because the things that I set I was going to do in the third 28-day checkpoint, you suddenly leave this cup half full, and then you go all the way to here, you start this and then think, oh, I've got to go back here and start that job again. And then suddenly we've got 4 or 5 jobs that have that cups half full. By having this blueprint, you are being accountable for where your time, your energy is going, okay? And I'm going to give you just a couple of extra things in here before I wrap up that will help you on a day-to-day basis, okay? Because I am trying to fit like a huge course in just this short time. So the kill zone. The kill zone is how we focus on our priorities on a day-to-day basis, and I think you'll get a lot of value from the kill zone. Okay, let me just make sure I can see any comments on here. My phone's packed up. Making perfect sense. Good. All right, okay. So the kill zone. Bit of a Chad name, right? Bit of a Chad. The kill zone is about finding the magic time where you get your stuff done. It's about understanding where your energy is at its peak. Now for me, the kill zone is between 9 and 10:30 and 11 and 12:30. So this is kill zone 1, this is kill zone 2. Now what we end up doing in here, remember we've broken all the way back down from that 12-week plan to what we need to be doing on a day-to-day basis to hit our 28-day checkpoints, okay? To make sure that we focus on those tasks that need to be done, we allocate 1 task per kill zone. We switch phones off or we turn notifications off. We let everybody know in the office, if we're in an office, not to be disturbed. If you're at the house, put a do not disturb sign on. So I'm about to go on a deep work session. Make sure you're well planned out in terms of what you need to do. So for example, on your deep work session 1 here, you might need to start creating a sales page. So for an hour and a half, you'll sit there and you'll create a sales page. Then at 10:15, you'll set your alarm. Your alarm will remind you that you have 15 minutes left of that working period. So then what you can do is start decompressing for that last 15 minutes. You then take half an hour break, right? People laugh when I say you take a break because I don't have time to take a break. There's no way that I can take a break. But if we don't take a break, we are not going to be effective in the way that we work. So we then take this half an hour break here, and then we go into kill zone 2. And what I recommend usually is then going on to another priority, because what we can have is overwhelm or a task overwhelm. So if you're doing copy here, have a break, and then come back here, you've got to try and build up that momentum again of something that you've just let go. And people will say to me, well, I would smash past that, okay, 10:30, and I'd probably go to 11 or 11:15 or 11:30. That means that you have now taking time away from other tasks that needs doing. And this really comes down to self-discipline. This comes down to self-awareness and listening to your body. And we listen to our body when we have more balance and we're focusing on our health pillar, mental, emotional, physical well-being. So suddenly when we start to feel, oh my God, I'm just drained. Oh my God, it feels like you're eating sawdust when you're typing another thing. You're just like, I just need a break. But if we stick to this, we become much more efficient. Okay, so then what we end up doing is having a lunch, and then from 1300 to 14:30, you can work on your logistics. So you don't look at your emails, by the way, till this time here. I only look at my emails once a day for 20 minutes. That's it. That's literally it. So between 1 and 1:20 is the only time, Monday to Friday, I will look at my emails. But in here is where you run all of your daily running. So you check in on clients, get back to messages, do your planning for the next day, catch up with calls, catch up with staff, whatever it's going to be. All right. So before this would be your morning routine. So your morning routine would prime you, put you in a great mental, emotional and physical condition so that you're fully ready and focused and hungry, and then you get going at 9. Okay. The other way to do this is sprints. So you could do 9 to 9:45, and then 10 to 10:45. Okay, you could do 11 to 11:45. So if an hour and a half is too long to concentrate, you can bring it all the way back to just 45-minute sessions. Boom, this is what I'm gonna do for 45 minutes, 15-minute break. Boom, straight into the next one. Using your energy wisely. Now I get up at 4:15 every single morning. I'm an early morning wanker, as most people would call it. But I get up in that time in the morning, so I'm fully prepared, ready for the day. So my peak energy time is here at 9 to 12:30. When I pass 12:30, if I try and do any of my number one priority tasks, my £300 an hour jobs, man, they're not going to get done productively. And that's the thing. These here are like £50 an hour jobs. So I want to do them later on in the day when I don't need as much of my energy, when I don't need to be as switched on. But that's what I've got staff for. I've got staff to try and do as many as my £10 and £50 an hour jobs for. So can you do that? Can you deal with the onboarding process? Early morning wanker. So yeah, this is kind of teaching you the basics. On the challenge, guys, I'd love to invite you to the challenge. Challenge doesn't cost you anything, okay, other than time and energy. But on there, we talk very much about self-awareness. We very much talk about the importance of priority and how to establish your priorities. We talk about the kill zone in much more detail. We talk about how to manage your week, okay? How to manage your days and your week, okay? By creating a timetable. So in brief, if you think about when you're at college, and you get your piece of paper at the timetable when you first start, and it tells you where you're going to be, at what time, what you're studying, and with what teacher, you'd end up going, right, okay, so I've got no lessons on Friday, so I can go and work down Tesco's, earn some money. I've got Thursday afternoon off, so I'm going to go to the gym. And what you do without even realizing it as a 16 to 18-year-old is kind of planning your life around your timetable. Now, when you finish that establishment, that structure, whether it's college or whether it's uni, and you base your life around a timetable, we then have nothing to base our lives around. We just kind of cuff our time. Okay, where am I going to be? What am I going to do? And what we want to try and do is build up a timetable. I can show you an example in my journal. Let me get, so like here. So this here tells me where I'm going to be and what I'm doing. So the orange is my work spots, the green is my personal development / health, and then my yellow is my family, personal. So this here shows me where my time and energy is going. Do you know when you look at your bank statement and you look at where all your money's going in and out? This is your time statement. That's it. So you now know where your time and energy is going. All right, and I'll teach you that on the challenge as well. And then on the Friday of the challenge, what we end up doing is talk about how do you structure your day, how to create time blocks, time chunks, and how they can be different throughout the week, but how to get the best out of you as an asset of the business, so that actually you don't need to work every hour under the sun. You can work a little smarter. You can plan in things to do with your family and do with your health. Okay. Hopefully I've given you enough info and content there. I think we arranged around 30 to 40 minutes. I hope that helps. When we do the coaching sessions on the challenge, we do them at 7 o'clock in the evening, and we go on for like maybe an hour, and we do lots of detailed content, and I'm confident it's going to help you. So if you want to come on, I've put the link on here somewhere. If you have any questions right now, I'll hold on for a couple of minutes. Please feel free to ask me. If there's anything you're unsure of. It can be a lot. There's a lot to take in half an hour. I appreciate that. But if you go to Facebook and type in Time Domination, you can see our Facebook page as well. And we post 3 times a day, hammering people about their time management, and on Instagram, Time Domination Experience as well. But it's one of those things that we don't pay attention enough to. because we don't make money from, it's not like, when we buy a product that helps us make money, we're like, yes, I really need that. When we realize that actually, if we are not in a good place, then I can't actually use that product because I'm too burnt out to use that product. When you realize how powerful it is of looking after yourself, you then suddenly know how to make money more efficiently. It's really, it's a really interesting concept, because all the business owners are about leads, money, revenue, leads, money, revenue. How do I help people? How do I get people into my world? But actually, we are the quarterback of all of that. And all of those things won't matter if you're on the floor, exhausted, and you can't even get out of bed. All right? Be the asset of the business. I'm struggling with overwhelm at the moment. This could be good timing. I'm usually good with time management, but just need to step up to the next level. And that's exactly what we're trying to do, Gillian. And that is what's really, really crucial for a lot of people, is that you get to a particular position in your business and you're making sales and you're doing good stuff, but it's like, how do I go to that next level? And I don't mean in terms of scalability, I mean in terms of you. Like, how do you go to the next level? Because many people, many entrepreneurs are not ready for growth. Everybody wants to scale their business, but as soon as that business starts coming in, they drown because there's no systems in place. And then suddenly you're like, you've got a tidal wave punch you in the face. You're like, oh my God, I can't deal with it, because more growth, there's more problems. With growth, there's more distractions, there's more curveballs, there's more stress, there's more frustration. And if that structure isn't already in place, then you're going to drown even more. Okay? The whole point of creating this mission and building you up is to reinforce this as a fort. If you think about a fort in the military, okay, and each one of these pillars in each corner is your defense mechanism against the chaos of everything going on. For many people, this is wafer thin. So suddenly when jobs start coming in, you suddenly start to feel overwhelmed. That means that the chaos or the enemy is breaking through into your fort. But the more that you practice on these 4 pillars, okay, the more organized you are, the clearer your yellow brick road is on your mission, okay, the harder it is for the chaos to get in. And I'm not saying you're going to be perfect, right? I practice this a lot, and there's still some days that I think to myself, actually, thank fuck that I've worked on myself, because there has been some times when I have needed like absolute resilience. Like this year, 5 months worth of trouble trying to figure out an ad account. So suddenly my revenue's gone down. So suddenly we have to hustle and grind and like take a different approach. But it's like you get punched in the face. You need to be conditioned enough to get up and go again. Get punched in the face 10 times, you've got to be prepared to get up 11. And if you're burnt out mentally and emotionally, you will not get up after the first couple of times. And that's what we have to think about, because long term, we don't think long term enough as business owners. Long term, you have to be in the fight. You have to be ever present. You have to be ready to deal with problems and solutions as you grow. Because this is not just for the next couple of years, right? This is like you're trying to build something here. So if the core of that thing that you're trying to build is damaged or not functioning properly or isn't in the right frame of mind or the right state of mind, everything else around it is going to crumble, man. I feel that's me. Just lost the need growth situation. Maybe I'm just a lifestyle entrepreneur. Drowning is exactly it. So I want to give you I'll finish by just giving you my mentality as me as an entrepreneur versus me as an entrepreneur 4 or 5 years ago. The me of the 4 or 5 years ago wanted to be the next big thing. I was like pushing. I wrote my book. I was like, I want to grow. I want to be a big public figure. I want to be I want to earn loads of money. I want everything. I want it all. Versus the entrepreneur of today, where I'm just like, I'm a dad and I run a couple of online businesses. If I continue to pay myself the same amount that I do every month, which by the way is pretty average in salary because I consistently reinvest heavily in my business. But if I just consistently stayed as I am now, my life would be very fulfilling. Like my life is fulfilling as it is. I live life on my own terms. I grow at the rate that I want to grow. I don't, compared to that person of 4 or 5 years ago where I was like, I want to put like £10,000 on these ads. I want to be in America. I want to be in Australia. I want to be in South Africa. I want to be all over the UK. I want to be the next, like, you know. And when I just look at it, I just think to myself, I'm happy where I am. Like, growth will come by us keep doing what we're doing, keep moving forward 1% every single day. I know it will come. I don't want to be the next big thing. I don't want to be that person anymore. That was probably more ego. What I want is a nice, balanced life where I can still run my business for the next 20 years and still achieve my mission and still be on track and still watch my kids grow up and still look after my health and still have the time to learn or sit in the garden. I finish work at 2 o'clock every single day, Monday to Friday. If I haven't achieved the things that I said I was going to achieve, I just push them into the next day. I don't stress about it because my business is not going to close down overnight because I haven't done one task, because it's about the bigger picture always. And when I lose that perspective, I look at the mission that I wrote in my diary, in my journal, I look at it and go, one bad day is not even going to dent my 10-year vision. And then suddenly you can bring it right back and you can be like, fuck, like perspective, aha moment, right? And a lot of that me of 4 or 5 years ago was influenced by other figures on social media, looking at what they had and wanting to be that, when I didn't really know who I was as an identity or what my values were or what my direction was being. And now I do. I know exactly what I want out of life. I know exactly what my values are, where my principles are, and where my priorities are. Do you know what I mean? I don't chase customers anymore. Clients either want to work with me or they don't. Do you know what I mean? They either follow the funnel and come through or they don't. And it's simple as that. And as soon as you start thinking a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more efficiently, you can enjoy the ride. You should be enjoying this ride. Or if you don't, you might as well go and get a 9 to 5 and go and earn 40 grand in a corporate job. Because if you're miserable in your business and you're unhappy and it's stressing you out, then why would you do it? Why don't you just go and get a job? It's about making this mission, this journey, as enjoyable as possible. As, you know, enjoying it, learn from the experience, figure out who you are through it. Right, guys, thanks. I've gone over a little bit of time there. Sorry, Julian. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. I really hope to see you on the challenge and on Monday week. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. We've got people over from America coming over as well, so I'm sure we're going to be super entertained with all of those guys as well. And we've got quite a few people coming on board, so it'd be great to see you. I hope this has been good for you. If you're watching back, let me know what you thought of it, please, in the comments, and I'll come back in and check in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Have a good week.